Hello, welcome to the first reading vlog of 2025. I really want to start making these again. I bought this camera. I love talking about books, but the end of 2024 was just bananas and I did not have it in me to vlog or do anything really. But holy shit, I wanted to start this reading vlog because I don't know if you can tell, I don't know if you can see is my makeup smudge. I was literally just sobbing because of this book. I'm not even done with it. I still have 120 pages of it left. I don't know if I've ever loved a character as much as I love Ephraim T. Horn. This is Dark Age by Pierce Brown. If you didn't read the title, this is the 5th book in the Red Rising saga, and it is, I mean, I don't know how it's gonna end. It could end in a terrible way and everything could change, but I love these books. I went in to Iron Gold last month being like, yeah, I really enjoyed the Red Rising trilogy. I didn't give any of them 5 stars, but I really liked Morning Star. And I think Golden Sun is like borderline for me. Like, I liked Golden Sun a lot, but it still had a lot of some of the like the bad writing that made me not like Red Rising. But I really enjoyed Morningstar. I felt like by the 3rd book he'd like really figured it out. But the difference between, and I'm not the only one who says this, but I didn't believe people, but I'm like, oh my, I should have believed people. The difference in quality between the first 3 books and the next 2 books in the series, I haven't read Lightbringer yet. I'm going to, I think, as soon as I finish this because I'm so obsessed, but like, it's like night and day. Like, Pierce Brown was talented, obviously. Like, he had some like talent from the beginning because the pacing of the first Red Rising book is so good. Even if the actual writing is bad, like the pacing is perfect. And then the prose starts getting better come Golden Sun, and then by Morningstar, it's like, it's cheesy, but he's like, it's like captivating. And there's like so much like emotional depth and you're like on the edge of your seat the entire time. It's like this chaotic whirlwind. But then this is just straight up good writing. This is just actually very well written, and the political intrigue is insane. The character work is, I don't even know. If you have not read Red Rising, I highly recommend. And like, please do not read the first book and judge the series first based on the first book. And their first 2 books are not hard to get through. Red Rising and Golden Sun are both short. This book is shaping up to be a 6-star book. This is one of the best books I've ever read. I'm literally obsessed. Like, Pierce Brown is, I think, has like put himself up there as one of the fucking greats. Holy shit. I'm also reading this book called Their Blood Queen. I'm such a sucker for those TikToks recommending absolute trash smut books that are on Kindle Unlimited. And I saw one that was like, he uses blood as lube, and I was like, okay, well, sure, that sounds like something I could like. And then I ended up, it was like part of a 3 standalone kind of like series thing called Monster Night, and I ended up not reading Their Blood Queen. I ended up reading Their Lethal Pet because it was Omegaverse, and I've kind of been on an Omegaverse kick this month of like trying to find a good Omegaverse, because for me when Omegaverse hits, it hits so hard, but there's so much bad Omegaverse out there. Well, I fucking loved Their Lethal Pet. Their Lethal Pet was a Wide Shoes Omegaverse. Oh my god, it was really, really good, and the writing was like actually competent. And this one was great. I loved it. It very much gave, I was really obsessed at the end of last year with these Sadie Kincaid books, The Broken Bloodlines. I think it's going to be a trilogy. I was obsessed with those books. And they're very silly and just goofy, fun, sexy times, but it gave like very similar vibes. Their Blood Queen, on the other hand, is terrible, and I'm just like trying to get through it. I'm at like the 90% mark, but it took until like This book is 400 pages, and it took until like the 70% mark for the main character to even meet all 3 of her love interests. And it's terrible. It's like, I think legitimately one of the worst books I've ever read. So, all right, update. We finished. Why am I updating and walking? I don't know. So I can get to the window where there's better lighting. I finished Dark Age yesterday. I sobbed like a little fucking baby for the last like 150 pages. I swear to fucking God. Impeccable. Impeccable. How'd he do it? One of the best books that I've ever read. 6 stars. No fucking doubt. I cannot wait to read Lightbringer. And part of me feels like I need a break, because I'm emotionally fucking devastated. Every single character's arc. Darrow at the end. Fucking what Lysander finds out at the end. Fucking Virginia. That scene with Virginia and Victra at the end. Volga? And obviously Ephraim. Obviously Ephraim. People talk about like the main like action movie but this is like so far beyond like any the emotional depth of any fucking action movie you've ever watched. I cannot. Pierce Brown is a god. So yeah, today I've been driving around. I've been in the field pretty much all day. So I've been listening to my Secret History audiobook. I'm really enjoying that. That's also starting to get spicy. Things are starting to actually happen in that book. And then I started, what is it? It's like their Pretty Monster or something. I don't know, it's the 3rd book in the Monster Knight. It's not a series. They're standalones. They're connected standalones. It's the 3rd one. And so far it is extremely unremarkable, but see. Hopefully the smut is good. That's all we can hope for. Hello. I just remembered I'm even doing one of these right now. What can I say? Reading just isn't the same now that I finished Dark Age. Y'all ever read like really low brain power books while you're in really boring, unnecessary meetings so you can multitask? No? Well, this is my smutty book that I'm reading right now. They're Pretty Little Monster, which just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. It's really bad. Some of the smut has been good. We have a variety of different monster boy parts, which are fun. We got knots. We got the double situation, if you know what I mean. Yeah, it's just really bad. But I did yesterday while I was on the treadmill, and I'm probably going to continue that today. I got back into One Dark Window. I started it like a million years ago and just like was so not vibing with it in the beginning. But me and one of my friends were both supposed to read it. It's like a buddy read, and then both of us have just been like, do we like it? Do we care? I don't know, but I'm on chapter 13 now. I'm 35%, 34% of the way through. So I'm going to read more of that while I walk on the treadmill. And then I've been doing a lot of driving for work the last couple of days, so I've listened to a ton of the Secret History audiobook. I'm like halfway through the book now, and I love it. It's getting so good. I'm really conflicted because I have a physical book, obviously, and I like really want to read it, but Donna Tarte's chapters are so long that I'm like, if I start reading it, I'm never gonna find my place in the fucking audiobook again. All right. I have some reading updates, but I also have some bookish mail things that came, so I thought it would be fun to share both of those. So I finished Their Pretty Little Monster yesterday, and it was just not it. I think I gave it 1.5 stars. That's, I think, my final rating. Some of the smut was good. It was a Y choose. There's 3 MMCs, and one of them, Wolf, like, definitely really did it for me. He was like the stoic, dominant, kind of like alpha type, and he had 2 things down below, which is a fave for me. I love that in a smutty book. But as the book progressed, like the writing just got worse and worse, almost like she gave up editing it or something. There was like typos and clearly like words that were not what they were supposed to be, which I can forgive to a certain extent, but like, yeah, there was just like no depth to those characters, and they would say the most like weird shit. And especially towards the end, like all of a sudden they were all just like falling in love with each other, and it was like, where, how? And the book was 400 pages, which is like plenty of time for there to be a where and a how. I feel like the actual setup of the book, the actual concept was all really interesting, but it did nothing for me. But then I read something that I had been hesitant to get because it's not on Kindle Unlimited, so you have to buy it or find other means of getting the book. But it's not just like a click of a button. But that is A Lair So Sinful by Zoey Ellis. I am not aware of the Zoey Ellis drama. I'm like dipping my toe into Omegaverse right now. I'm like enjoying the vibes, enjoying the view, but I am not like an Omegaverse girly, specifically because I really like fantasy. So I love when there's like a fantasy Omegaverse crossover. And so this book is about, the race is called Dragonite. And so they are like basically like these, like, they're humans, but they're like higher magic humans who bond to dragons and then have magic. This one, our like main character, our female main character, wakes up in a dragon's lair, and she is supposed to be like essentially like one of his, she says she's like, I'm like a sex slave, but they like have this other word for it where you're like a revered, like you're part of the lair and you're there to like sexually please the master. But she's like, I don't know what the fuck what I'm doing here. She's lost her memory. She freaks out, runs away. Who does she run into but the master of the house, the dragon rider himself, and he is immediately like obsessed with her. At this point, the humans have basically like ganged up and killed off all of the Dragonite, all of his kind, the Dragonite, I should not Dragonite, the Dragonite, all of his kind. And so he's like, fuck the politics of my realm, fuck everything that's going on. I'm just gonna, you know, I'm gonna hunt and ride my dragon and fuck and eat good food and like enjoy the life that I have left because my people are at the end of their line. Like we're the last ones, him and his brothers. But then he meets this girl and obviously that all changes. And then there's some just like ungodly Omegaverse smut. It is certainly not sweet and cute. She is not interested and is forced into a sexual relationship with him. So know that. It's not like fully like SA because like obviously like we have the classic, what is it called? Body, what is it called? I can never remember this term when I need the term. But you know, like her body wants one thing, her mind wants another. Her body is always here for it. It's just her mind that has to catch up. But I loved it. I'm kind of picky. I gave it 4.5 stars. It was really, really good. I keep getting texts. Okay, book mail. I'm gonna show you what I got. First things are things that I didn't realize were coming that I got in the mail. I had to go to the post office to pick a bunch of stuff because over the holidays I forgot that I had a mailbox. But in it I saw this book mail from Finley Fenn. Are we joking? Finley Fenn, of course, the writer of Orcsworn, my favorite monster romance books of all time. This is just the most precious little Happy Yule. Her husband does these ridiculous little chibi versions of the orcs. So this is Izog. Izog is one of my favorite orcs. If you haven't read Yuled by the Orc, it's not Christmas time anymore, but it doesn't matter. It's so good. It's so cute. And then this bookmark is Gillig, who is The Widow and the Orcs is my favorite Orcsworn book. Gillig is my second favorite orc. Draven is my favorite orc, but I love that I have this. And so now I'm really thinking I want to reread and annotate them. I've reread all of them like a million times at this point, but I want to reread and annotate them. And I'm like, that will be my bookmark while I do it. 'Cause I hadn't wanted to do it to the hardcovers. I kind of wanted to leave them pristine. But now I'm getting special edition hardcovers of the first 4, so I don't know. We'll see where we go. And then this larger print, which I'm gonna have to figure out what to do with, which is also Izog and Lydia and Sigtrigger. from Yuled by the Orcs. I love Finley Fenn. And then me and my husband tried Book of the Month. Our financial situation has kind of changed recently. Not like majorly, we're just like in transition between jobs. So our income is a little lower, and this was like one of the first things that I was like, not worth it, because the book selections have not been that good. First month it was great, and I was able to get Phantasma for $5, which ended up not really liking Phantasma very much, so maybe it wasn't that great. But oh, I don't even think this is the book that we asked for. That's really funny. Whatever. But it was cute. We got another cute, the bookmarks are always nice. This is actually a different one. So that's nice. We got another bookmark. These are no longer seasonally appropriate. Oh, I do love that they included some Hanukkah stuff on here though. It's holiday stickers, but they have a latke down there that's with applesauce. That's actually really cute. That's actually really precious. But apparently the book that they sent was Homeseeking by Carissa Chen, which is not the book that I selected. I don't know anything about this book. And then I bought some stuff from Temu. Most of it was clothes and nails, but I did get a couple of bookish things. I like this pin that I'm about to show you. These two things, I mean, together collectively, but really this pin, when I saw it, I like lost my mind. Are you joking? It's fucking Taryn and Adarna reading a book together. It's so cute. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. I don't use pins, but I'm thinking I'm gonna like stick it on my work thing, because no one knows that this is referencing a smutty little dragon book. This is just two cute dragons reading a book together, but I will know. And it's Taryn and Adorna. It's so cute. And I mean, Onyx Storm comes out in literally like 4 days. So then I bought something really ridiculous, and this is gonna be like a project, because I'm gonna have to find good frames for these, but I'm really excited. I don't know if these are AI generated or stolen art or what they are, but these are like ACOTAR illustrations. I'm gonna have to back up, I think, to be able to show you. And the prints, I don't know, I think you always run the risk with Temu of like the prints not coming out super well, but they're so cool. They're these black and white, like they look almost like they're just like sketches, like they're like pencil drawn. And this one is supposed to be Cassian and Nesta. This one is Reese and Feyre. And so then they have them with like their Illyrian wings out. I don't know. I am fully fucking obsessed with these. So I'm gonna have to find, I kind of have this like romance Harlequin kind of corner going on in my bedroom, and so I think these are gonna have to be added to it. As much as I would love to put these in my living room, I feel like they're a little much. I'm like almost 50% of the way through One Dark Window now, and I don't care. I don't care about Elspeth at all. I'm kind of actively annoyed by Elspeth. And then I'm a little more than halfway through The Secret History by Donna Tarte, and I am obsessed. I love it so much. Please listen to that audiobook. Donna Tarte reading that book is one of the most precious things I've ever listened to in my whole life. And I'm about to enter the part of the book that like I think people think of as like the slog, so I'm a little bit nervous, but I'm having such a good time. I'm having the time of my fucking life. Updates. We finished this bad boy yesterday. This is such an easy 5 stars. This book is so good. I mean, first, like, the writing is impeccable. I definitely want to read some more Donna Tarte after reading this. I'm pretty sure she has 2 other books, but I would definitely like to read them. I feel like her writing is like full of the most like poignant details, and she uses like metaphors sparingly but like really wonderfully. The imagery she crafts is really great. I just think her writing is like understated in the best possible way. I listened to most of this on audiobook, but I did read the very end, and like I love the audiobook. I think listening to Donna Tarte read her own book was wonderful. It's such a good audiobook, and it is on YouTube if you're interested. yeah, I just feel like this book has a lot to say. Has a lot to say about like who we think people are, how we view people, escaping into kind of like fantasy and romanticizing people. And also, I feel like there's some kind of like existentialist commentary about the like intellectualization of life, essentially. And it was just done so powerfully. And I feel like I'm going to be unpacking this book for a long time and probably want to reread it at some point. But I love all of the characters. Like, none of the characters are truly likable or redeemable, but they're all fascinating and feel like, I don't know, I'm deeply attached to everybody, especially Henry. Henry is such a fascinating character. This book has a crazy plot twist. I did not see that coming in here. I didn't know that. That like had my jaw on the fucking, I loved this book. I loved it. I never finished this video. I think the last time I recorded something was Sunday. It's now Thursday. Let's do a little reading update and then we'll wrap this bad boy up and we'll start another because this one was so exciting and fun. I did finish One Dark Window. That was on my list. I finished One Dark Window and it was fine. You know what sucks? It really sucks when you're like reading something with somebody else and they really liked it and you thought it was just fine or you didn't really like it. It's just not a very fun feeling. And I just thought One Dark Window was really mid. Like I liked Raven and Emery. I loved Emery, but mainly I liked Raven, but it's like Raven is like Shadow Daddy light, you know? And I feel like people talk about, like, he's just doing the like formulaic Shadow Daddy thing, which obviously like I like, but he wasn't doing it like exceptionally well. And I don't know. I just like, it didn't really hit for me. People talk about it like he is like, or he, like Rachel Gillig's writing is like so superior to other romantasy writing. And that the world of One Dark Window is more like a regular fantasy and less like a romantasy. And I thought it was like a pretty formulaic romantasy with like a kind of mid magic system. And I did not like her prose. And I really just liked the rhymes. I really don't like rhyming and poems and songs and stuff in books. I don't know what that is. I respect it if you like that book. It's a perfectly fine book. But my friend who I read it with was like, started to twist your crowns right away. And I'm like, I have no desire. Like, I will read it at some point, but I have no desire. But I have finished 4 books since then, and other books since then, and they are they are all alien or monster romance books. It's been a stressful week, y'all. Politically, life, world, stressful week. I did buy Onyx Storm the day that it came out, and then like the politics, as an American, obviously, are like just so stressful that I was like, nope, I can't handle Xaden and Violet's stress on top of my own stress. I will be dissociating into another planet, and that planet specifically was Luxuria. So I did finish The Fall of the Orc. I don't know if I mentioned that because I don't think I'd finished it yet. Yeah, I did finish The Fall of the Orc, which is the second book in the Orc Forge series, which is Finley Fenn's Orc Monster Romance series. The Fall of the Orc is superb. It's so good. Like, honestly, I gave it a 4.75 when I read it. I think that still probably holds true. It does have some problems. It does have some cringe things in it, but I love it. If you have read a Finley Fenn book and it's your jam, you will definitely like it. If you haven't read a Finley Fenn book, it's a 50-50 shot. They're pretty high angst. The Fall of the Orc is not as high angst as some of them, but they're pretty high angst and really high spice and lots to come. Just ungodly amounts of orc come in every book. That's Finley Fenn's favorite thing. Come is also a big central thing in this book. If the idea of just lots of conversations around that grosses you out, don't read any of her books. Don't read any of her books. But then I finished The Warriors of Luxuria series by Zoey Draven. After Finley Fenn, Zoey Draven is like my favorite like her books are alien romance, but they're, I don't know, they're kind of cuspy because like her aliens are like her Horde Kings of Dakar books, the aliens are they're basically like if the Dothraki from Game of Thrones had tails, you know, like not a lot that's like alien about them. And then in her Brides of Kylor series, they're like vampire berserkers. So they're basically just vampires with horns and wings. They're like Illyrians, basically. And then in the Warriors of Luxuria series, they're, again, they're just like big, tall alien warriors who look like men, except they have horns and like they don't actually have scales, but their skin like shimmers and reflects light and it has like a pattern to it. But they're just men basically. So they always more feel like fantasy romance than like sci-fi, like alien romance. But especially in Warriors of Luxuria, there is like more mention of like inner space travel and technology and stuff. So it's a little more sci-fi. The women were all abducted by aliens and taken to this pit and then saved from the pit by the Luxurians, and now one by one they're all finding their luxuriant fated mates. So I read the last two. I read the first two in December, and then I've read the rest of them this month. And I really enjoyed the last two, especially the last one, which is what is it? The Alien's Claim, which, you know, like I feel like a lot of these series have like a kind of villain character who then like low-key gets a book, a low-key villain character who then gets a book, and that was what this was. And the male lead of the final book is low-key unhinged in such a good way. Like they're both unhinged together, which I love. It was the most like a real book of the entire series. It had the most conflict, the most like intriguing like depth of character. I love a self-loathing man, a big sexy strong self-loathing man, obviously. So yeah, if you're into alien romance but maybe want something that's like slightly more angsty but with good spice, really enjoy those books. And then she also wrote a spin-off, the I think it's the fourth book. The male love interest in the fourth book has like an exiled brother that he talks about, and she wrote a spin-off called like Warriors of Rosen or Rosin, I don't know how you're supposed to say it, that follows his brother. His brother is the love interest. I read the first one, just finished the first one today and started the second one, which are Wicked Captor and Wicked Mate. It's like a little duology. They're all really short. The last couple Warriors of Luxuria books got like actual book length. They were like between 250 and 300 pages. But most of them have been like between 150 and 200 pages, you know, that like alien romance book length. So, I'm eating them up for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I'm having such a good time. I love Zoey Draven. Zoey Draven announced that she's releasing another Brides of Kylor book this year. And I can't tell you how excited I am. If you like monster romance, alien romance, ACOTAR, but you also like very spicy books, like you like the Brides of Kylor books eat so hard, and there's only 2 of them, which is so sad because they're so good. And also, if you watch Game of Thrones and you were like down bad for Khal Drogo, the Horde Kings of Dakar books, also incredible. And she released this new series last year, at the end of last year. What is it? The Horde Kings of Elphica or something like that. And they also takes place on Dakar, but it's like a different country on the planet, a different like empire, and they're dragon riders, and it's very fantasy romance vibes, but with some of it's interesting going back and reading Warriors of Luxuria, because some of the kind of like things that she used, some of the things that happen on Luxuria, the way that the fated mates work, she repurposed. And the Brides of Kylor and the Horde King books are actual like full-length books. They're not novella length. She also has a Crave series, which I'm probably gonna read. I think you can tell I'm just binging the Zoey Draven books at this point. Anyways, I've rambled a lot. That's what I've read. My hope is that in this next week I will read Onyx Storm. Like over the weekend, I think I'm gonna try to read Onyx Storm. And finish The Blood Mirror by Brent Weeks, which is the audiobook that I've started, and I'm also really enjoying that. Having a fun, fresh time with that. I'm so stressed out. I'm so stressed out about what's happening with Gavin and what's happening with Adrastia. I just am so stressed. But I'm enjoying it a lot. I love that series. So, thanks for watching. To the 2 people that watch this, we love you. We appreciate you. I just want to, like, are there other people out there who just gobble up smut but then also really like high fantasy, who also like epic fantasy? You gotta be out there somewhere. Come to me. Find me. Okay, goodbye.